Hey guys, Mega Man NG here. Time now for another Flash episode review. This week I'm going to be talking about yesterday's episode that came out, Flashback. And believe me, I got a lot to say on it because it was just that dang good. Although the bad thing is that we're not going to be getting another Flash episode for the next 3 weeks. I ask, why? Anyway, let's get ourselves started with the review. I'll provide a summary. I'll provide my thoughts on the episode itself, what I liked, disliked, etc., and my rating. So, let's get started, shall we? Having learned Zoom's identity was enough to put Barry over the edge, as you've already seen at the end of the last episode. He tries to find a way, any way to be faster than Zoom so he can defeat him. All his efforts have been for naught. Until he decides to do something that not even Earth 2 Wells would approve. Time travel. So, he travels back a year into the past, hoping that he can meet with Eobard/Earth 1 Wells and maybe find a way. What he ends up doing turns into an utter mess as he has to not only have to contend with Wells/Reverse Flash, but also an entity called a time wraith, who seems to be after Barry because of his time travel escapade. Can Barry not only be able to get what he needs from Thawne, return back to the present time, and deal with the time wraith before the space-time continuum screws up everything? Yeah. For a time travel story, this is pretty good. I loved it. I really did love the episode a lot. Because this episode focuses a lot more on time travel as well as the consequences. You guys know that the Flash and time travel are completely how do I put this? I just can't find the right words because they both seem to possess something similar. They fit together. Basically, you guys know that the Flash can travel through time. And he has done that many times, including one that would ultimately lead to the event Flashpoint. I blame Jeff Johns because he's the reason why we got the New 52 in the first place. But anyway, back to the review. Basically, I loved this episode. I really loved it a lot because we not only get to see what happens during this time when he went back in time, but also learning of the consequences. And surprisingly enough, this week's villain of the week is in fact Barry Allen. Because let's be frank, Barry traveled through time without even realizing that something or someone is after him. And that is a time wraith. But for some odd reason, the time wraith looked absolutely goofy and unimpressive. Although I do seem to like the concept behind it because these things, basically they're like the Black Flash, going after speedsters. And in this case, since they're going after Barry because he traveled through time without even realizing what the heck he's doing. And truthfully, in my honest opinion, that is surprising. What I loved, there was like a lot of things I liked about the episode. For starters, since it's a year back in the past, it was good to see Eddie Thawne again. It really is, but this episode also serves as closure for Eddie Thawne. Because after the Season 1 finale, when he basically killed himself just to save Barry and destroy the Reverse Flash, it felt kind of sad. Rick Cavanugh delivered a great job with his performance, and it also served as a fitting farewell to him in the form of like a video message to Iris. And it was just so well done. When I saw Iris shedding tears, it just shows that I feel that Iris and Eddie deserve each other. Stinks that he died though, but for this episode alone, it was magnificent. It was well done and I loved it. And it was a fitting closure to his character. It makes me wish we brought him back at least. At least it would have made things a lot more interesting. Now, there was also some other things I liked about it. For example, Tom Cavanagh's performance as both Earth 2 Wells and Earth 1 Wells, aka Reverse Flash. It was funny, it was awesome, and in some cases it was scary. Because seeing Tom Cavanugh portray two different versions of Wells was awesome. You have Earth 2 Wells, who's always serious and always determined to do what he could to save his daughter. But on the other hand, you have Earth 1 Wells. On one side, he served as a mentor to Barry Allen, hoping to have himself get stronger so that way he could be able to stop metahumans. But on the other side, you have somebody who destroyed one's life, just so he can find a way to return back home. And seeing Earth 1 Wells meet future Barry, it was just awesome. But at the same time, this guy was willing to do whatever he could. And yeah, Thawne was ready to kill him. But Barry had to play a little bit of mind games with him, find a way to convince him to help. Because if Thawne did kill Barry, then that could really mess things up. Leave it to Barry to find a way out. Although, one of my favorite moments in the episode was when the other Barry showed up and Cisco couldn't even tell which Barry is what. It just made me laugh out loud. I was literally chuckling throughout the episode. Like I said, Cisco is just so funny. It was funny in the episode. It helped provide a humor to episodes that can sometimes be pretty dark. I loved it a lot. And yes, like I mentioned before, the time wraith. But what Barry also did. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the Pied Piper makes his appearance. Though we now learn in the present time that basically the Pied Piper is now basically a good guy. Apparently, Barry must have done something to help convince the guy to be good. Now, I don't mind it per se, and he was an interesting villain, but it just came out of nowhere. It just really did. Fortunately, though, I have a feeling that he may end up being a supporting character down the line. Who knows? But let's be honest, the idea of time travel is an interesting concept, and this episode does it a lot better. You guys already know that there are other shows that deal with the idea of time travel. The Flash is one of these examples that does, because it shows not only what time travel does, it also shows the consequences. But let's be frank, Barry has been able to use time travel as a means of helping his friends. Although while it has good intentions, it does have consequences. And one of these consequences happened in Season 1 when he tried to kidnap the Weather Wizard fast enough. Weather Wizard's brother, actually. This led to consequences with Captain Cole eventually learning the identity of Barry Allen. And that's surprising. And then again in Season 2 with the Flash Arrow crossover, Barry traveling back in time to prevent the death of his family and friends from Vandal Savage. Yes, there were some good things about it, but there was also some bad things, which I already mentioned in Season 1. And this is why time traveling is no joke. Even if you were to change one thing, one little thing, the smallest change in history can have an impact in the future. And it's been done many times, whether in movies, video games, TV shows, and I hate to say it, even a show like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the Season 5 finale, The Cutie Remark, deals with time travel and the consequences of it. And the only reason why I say it is because I'm using it as an example on an episode of The Flash. And I'm saying it right here and now. This week's episode of The Flash was just awesome. I loved it a lot. It was so good. And that is why I am rating this week's episode, Flashback, a 9 out of 10. One of the best episodes without a doubt, but it's not the best compared to Welcome to Earth 2 because I gave that a perfect 10. This episode gets a 9 for not only great action, but it also relives moments from, I believe, Season 1. And also provides closure for Eddie Thawne, a fitting farewell to Eddie Thawne, his character, and the actor who played him. Tom Cavanagh's performance as both Wells was just awesome. I really mean it. How come this guy hasn't had a daytime Emmy yet? Not to mention the funny moments with Cisco. And the only gripe I have is the time wraith. Even though the time wraith does look scary, the idea behind it is just rather meh. I wish it could be done better. Maybe have it be like a Black Flash instead. But no, we have the time wraith instead. But it does provide an interesting thing regarding time travel and the consequences for doing it. This is going to make things interesting because even though Barry did make some changes in the past to change the future, what about the consequences? Will there be any? It's not a matter of if, but when. So yeah, that's it for this week's Flash episode review. I hope you enjoyed it, despite the fact I did mention something I shouldn't. And if you did, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. There will not be any new Flash for the next 3 weeks. April 19th? Yeah, you don't want to miss this. It's something I've been waiting for a long time. The origin of Zoom. Though I wonder if this is going to give me the answers I need, or rather we need, or will this give us more questions? I don't know for sure. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. This is Mega Man NG, signing off. Peace out.